Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your host, Mongo Slade. I want to make a statement about something that happened over the weekend. At a Monster Factory wrestling show, promoter Danny Cage stopped the show to say that he doesn't want fans yelling things at wrestlers that might be offensive. Something to the effect of, "Go back to Africa." I don't want to hear that, he says. And then he says that, he gives out his phone number and says, if you got a problem, you need to call me. Or whatever. And I just said, man, the marks are in the ring. The marks are in the ring. And I don't know who Danny Cage is. I saw the video. I would put the video in the video and put the video in my video, but I don't want to do that because he actually gives away his phone number, and I don't want to put that out there. So I just want to make 2 statements. One, you can be woke or you can be entertaining, but you cannot be both. And 2, the wrestling business is backwards because now it's the wrestlers getting worked by the fans. Over the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of issues with people, particularly wrestlers, being angry at the fans. One was an NXT. I'll give you a couple of examples. One was NXT. Io Shirai is stretching in the corner. Some idiot from the crowd yells at her, "Go back to China." She turns around and says, "I'm Japanese, bitch," and goes back to stretching. 2, Ring of Honor. Somebody is yelling something at, I believe, Angelina Love or Velvet Sky, one of the 2 of them. And Bully Ray decides to chastise the fan by bringing him to the backstage and chastising him and threatening him and all that kinds of stuff. And then you have AEW who are, they're telling people before the show, you can't say certain things about Nyla Rose and you can't say certain things about Sonny Kiss. All of this fan censorship. And I say to myself, the marks are, you're worried about getting worked by the fans. If the fans can yell at something at you and get a reaction out of you to the point where you stop the show or you got to stop what you're doing in order to react to this one fan, you're the one getting worked. The business has gone backwards. It's not. Back in the day, they used to feed off this shit, right? Back when wrestling used to be fun, everybody thought it was real or had some idea that it was real. There used to be something called genuine heat. Just imagine if somebody had this concept where somebody like the Iron Sheik was trying to come up, right? The Iron Sheik made his entire career playing off of xenophobia and racism, right? Iran number one, Act 2. He made $500,000 a year, more money than he ever would have made doing anything else, off of just going Act 2 and pissing off Americans. And those Americans were willing to lay down money to come and yell at him. And sometimes they went too far. I agree. They, the death threats, he thought he was going to get killed. I get it. I understand that sometimes people can go too far. We'll talk about when fans go too far a little bit later. But that used to be what the business was all about. You had a guy who would dress up as a German and he would go out there and cut, communist promos and stuff like that to get genuine heat out of people. They wanted you to yell at them. They wanted you to yell crazy stuff at them. The more offensive, the better. And in foreign countries, it was even worse, especially like Puerto Rico and Mexico. Oh my God. Yes, they wanted that. Yes, they wanted the heat. Bring it, because then you pay the hero, see the hero beat you up. Now everybody wants to protect the performers because it's community fucking theater. It's like a college project. It's not heat anymore. It's not wrestling anymore. ECW, right? They used to trend crazy stuff at the female wrestlers. Show your tits. You're a slut. She sucks dick. They used to yell that crazy stuff. And then they would tell the women to play into it. Send them out there all sexy with their boobs out and everything. Tease them a little bit. They'd be like, show your tits. Show your tits. Then she tease it a little bit and then not do it to get some heat. But now people are like, how dare you yell at a woman? It's like, what the fuck? These guys used to do stuff to get those reactions. New Jack used to cut promos in order to get the racist reaction from the crowd. He wanted that reaction. He wanted it because then he know you'd pay somebody white to see him, to beat him up. That was the point. You bring them into the building, you piss them off, and you pay for them to come. They will pay to come back. But now the marks are in the ring, the marks are in the back. You have to protect everybody's feelings, and that way you sanitize the show. Now, a lot of people have said that WWE, this is WWE's fault. They sanitized the product by making it for children. It's like, but this is the independents. It's not what you understanding here, man. These are the independents now, where you can't say anything to these people. What is the point of booing and cheering? Why are wrestlers? See, my point in bringing back, ECW, Smoky Mountain, the NWA territories, old WWF, where you had like guys calling bomb threats on WrestleMania 7 and all kind of insane shit. The point of that is because that was genuine heat. That is the stuff that wrestling has always been about. Okay? I'm pretty sure Crusher Khrushchev or Crusher Darsow got a lot of death threats when he became a Russian sympathizer on Mid-South Wrestling. I'm sure he got a lot of death threats. I'm sure he did. Bill Watts did not at any point in time go out there and say, the good people of Russia, just because the guy says he's Russian, doesn't mean you got to kill him. Just because he's a communist, doesn't mean you got to attack him. Got to respect the performers. No. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? That was great. Now we can put this guy on one side of the ring, and we can have the All-American guy on the other side of the ring, whether it be like Terry Taylor or Dr. Death Steve Williams or Junkyard Dog or somebody like that can represent the United States and stand up for the rights of the American citizens or something like that, and play into it. Play into it. The guy should have came back more African. That way, the guy would have known that I'm not taking what you're saying personally. But now, the wrestlers are taking what's being said to them personally. And it's not entertaining. Why would I go pay money for a ticket to a show and I'm going to get lectured? I can't say whatever I want. Now, like I said before, you can go too far. You can go too far. I think that when those fans back in the day used to try to stab wrestlers and shoot them, and when the guy grabbed Scarlett Bordeaux from the crowd and he grabbed her butt or something like that, or he just might have grabbed her period. Sure, that's too far. We can say that there's sometimes guys go too far. But the line of decency has become to the point of you're supposed to just boo, generic boo, just generic boo, yay, generic boo, generic yay. Not, anything that's legitimately passionate. Like you legitimately feel something. Heaven for fucking bid, somebody feels something in a wrestling show. You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that anymore. And this all boils down to that. This is the one thing that, it kind of comes with the whole Jim Cornette stuff. Because Jim Cornette says stuff and he hurts people's feelings, right? And then people go out there and they start selling. That's what the Miro, Penelope Ford, and all them, they just go out there and they start selling. Oh, I can't believe he says mean things about women. I can't believe he says mean things about me. He says mean things about my wife. It's like, so what? So what? He doesn't know you. It's not personal. He doesn't know you. That's the whole point of wrestling, is you're playing a character in front of the people. They don't know you. And if they're ignorant, that's even better. Because now you get to play off their ignorance. But nowadays, the promoters are out there trying to save the wrestlers from getting any real heat. Nobody can really get over it. There's nothing special anymore. There's nothing special about this art form anymore. Okay, could you imagine, somebody trying to sanitize the ECW crowd or the Attitude Era crowd where they were yelling like wild stuff at people? Now, it never really got too bad when it comes to the Attitude Era, as far as, people chanting nigger at somebody or something like that. But they did used to chant like faggot. The ECW crowd would do that. They would chant faggot at some of the performers and stuff like that. And some of the performers would yell that the crowds were faggots. Sometimes that kind of stuff would go back and forth. Imagine that happening today. It'd be a big brouhaha all over the internet if somebody called Sonny Kiss a faggot or something like that. Or if somebody in the ring called somebody in the crowd a faggot. They used to go back and watch ECW, and they would do that shit all the time. Hell, Bully Ray, Bubba Ray Dudley used to call the fans faggots. Ian Rotten used to call the fans faggots, you know, and it was recorded and it was not bleeped out. Because guess what? That was the genuine point. You were using things to get heat. Being genuinely offensive gets heat. And I've seen so many people say that wrestling is an art form. It's like rock and roll. It's like the rock and roll of theater. It's like, but now you're trying to turn it into a pop song. The whole point of it, the point of artistic endeavors is for you to go out there, and sometimes you cross the line. Sometimes you do go too far. Sometimes you do go too far and you offend the audience. Sometimes the audience goes too far and they offend you. Okay? But it was never supposed to be personal. It's not personal because they don't know you and you don't know them. You're just using words and using phrases to get attention. You can be woke or you can be entertaining, but baby, you cannot be both. It does not work. Wokeness is too sanitized. Oh, but sometimes people are like, okay, well, you can be woke and get genuine heat. Like, no, you can't. You just get generic boo and generic yay. Real heat is specific. It is specifically for you, not just, well, generic boo, generic yay. That's not fun. You have the independents now making wrestling less fun. Think about how dangerous that is. The business is backwards. It is now the fans working the wrestlers. They can work you all day on Twitter by saying whatever they want, and then you start selling on Twitter. Oh, I'm going to tweet mean things at this fan. Matt Hardy is out here selling for wrestling fans on Twitter. Fan called him an asshole. He starts selling. What is going on here? What happened to the wrestling business where now the wrestlers are the ones doing the job to the fans? That's scary. This business is backwards now. And I don't know what else to say. Look, I'm going to say it for the third time. You can be woke or you can be entertaining, but you can't be both. Can't be both.
Yeah.